מי שנולדה וגדלה במרמרמיס שבטורקיה, התחנכה מגיל צעיר לשנוא יהודים ואת מדינת ישראל, אבל בגיל 20, מפגשים אקראיים עם תיירים ישראלים, שינו את כל מערכת האמונות שלה. היום טרקו אבג'י לא רק חיה בירושלים ולומדת כאן באוניברסיטה העברית, היא גם נלחמת יום יום על שמה הטוב של ישראל ברשתות החברתיות, מול משפיענים וטוקבקיסטים טורקיים, והערב עשינו איתה ראיון קצר, נגיד עכשיו שלום טורקו.
Good evening, shalom Minon.
And thank you for being with us. You're speaking to us from Jerusalem. How long have you been living in Israel now?
Now it's been 4 years.
Okay, so no longer עולה חדשה. Growing up in ממרמריס, Turkey, did you ever imagine you'd end up here living one day?
No, not at all. And actually, I feel like my destiny forced me to be here. It wasn't my plan at all. I grew up in a secular family, Muslim, but secular, but also left-wing. So my both parents were pro-Palestinian. And when I was a kid, I remember my father was being in protests and saying, think about Palestinian kids every 5 minutes every day. And that was my environment. And when you grow up in Turkey, first you're born and then you learn that Israel is something you shouldn't support. But after I come to a certain age, I start meeting with Israelis in Marmaris. They were the kindest and most generous tourists we have ever seen in Marmaris. And the moment I decided to come to Israel, it was on 2020, when I was watching the news about Şegdela, what was going on in Şegdela in Jerusalem. And it was just not making sense. There was only one argument, and the argument was one side is completely evil and other side is constantly the victim. And I decided to read some articles from Israeli writers. And then I read an article from a professor that teaches in Hebrew University. And then I read about Hebrew University and I was like, I have to go study there.
That's amazing. And since moving here, you've continued to engage with people back in Turkey on social media, defending Israel, and received many threats for that. Aren't you afraid?
Of course, I'm receiving lots of threats and really creative ones, like how they're going to rape me or kill me and then rape me again in my grave. And they're really creative about that. And but every time I read these threats, I remember my favorite poem, my favorite poet from my favorite poem, which is, if you don't burn, if I don't burn, how will darkness come into light? Wow. And if I need to get burned to bring some light to this darkness, I'm happy to be burned.
And thank you for that. How many Turks are actually willing to listen, to learn, or to have an honest discussion about Israel from your experience so far?
I'm telling you, many. Like they really want to listen and learn because they feel the same thing I felt before I start searching about this conflict. So it's possible. It's 100% possible to make
surprising. Okay, that's good to hear. And what about here? What's the typical reaction you get from Israelis when they find out you're Turkish?
It's amazing, you know. It's like, when I think about it, makes me want to cry because they just want to hug me and they just like give all their love to me. And they just say, thank you for my actions.
Yes, as we say also. What about your Hebrew, by the way? איך העברית שלך נשמעת?
אני חושבת שזה בסדר.
נשמע לא רע בכלל. סבבה לגמרי. איזשהו מסר שאת רוצה אולי לומר בעברית לישראלים?
שלום לעם ישראל בשפה שלכם. אני בארץ ב4 שנים, ותודה על הכל. אני ממש שמחה שאני פה.
טורקי, תודה רבה שהיית איתנו.